Hello, everyone. On behalf of the University of Utah and the College of Engineering, I am honored to welcome you all to this historic event. This is truly a landmark day, one that marks the beginning of a bold new chapter for the College of Engineering. The first engineering courses at the University of Utah were offered in 1895. Since then, the College of Engineering has been an essential factor in Utah's economic landscape. Our graduates over the past 128 years have contributed to some of the most fundamental advances in our modern way of life. Joseph Merrill, who served as the founding dean, described his engineering students in 1903 in this way: "They are eager to bring out the best that is in them. They do not want to follow when they are capable of leading. They want an education that truly develops every side of their being and stores their minds with useful knowledge." When I look around at our students today, I can say with confidence that not much has changed. Our students are bright, hardworking, and driven to excel. As a result, we continue to produce Utah's most sought-after engineering and computing graduates, highly educated individuals who want to use their creativity and technical skills to make life better. Thanks to the Price family, we're about to secure that opportunity for the people of Utah for generations to come. As an alumnus of the Electrical Engineering Department, I am honored to preside over an announcement that will change the trajectory of the college. First, let me introduce our honored guests: University of Utah President Taylor Randall, Governor Spencer Cox, Senate President Stuart Adams, House Speaker Brad Wilson, and members of the John and Marcia Price family. Members of the university's Board of Trustees and senior administration, Engineering Advisory Board members, Utah and Salt Lake City elected officials, faculty, staff, students, and members of the media. Thank you all for being with us this afternoon. We will begin today's program with the announcement by President Randall. We will then proceed with congratulations from Governor Cox, remarks by Steve and John Price, followed by comments from Senator Adams and Representative Wilson.
Thanks, Rich. What an incredibly remarkable and historic day for the College of Engineering. We find ourselves on the precipice of transformation, a gift that will change generations of both educators, professors, and students, and I think the face of the Utah economy for many, many years to come. With the announcement of this historic gift, the University of Utah becomes part of an elite club, those named engineering colleges. It's going to be quite remarkable. In 2000, or just recently, the Kempsey Gardner Policy Institute issued a report on the technical training that generates incredible GDP in this economy. So just listen and fathom this number. Engineering-related education creates 230,000 jobs in Utah and accounts for well over $25 billion of GDP. This particular college produces nearly half of that talent via bachelor's programs, master's programs, and PhD programs. And with that as backdrop, a conversation a little while ago started with the Price family about the importance of engineering and computer science education in our economy and what trajectory it needed to take. This family is a remarkable family, and thank you for being here today. For decades, they have supported on campus the fine arts, health sciences, business, athletics, and so John and Marcia Price decided they would also underwrite the future of engineering. And after consulting with their family, it was their desire that our college take its rightful place among those elite. Not just for the university's sake, but for students' sake and for the sake of Utah and its economy. So today I am pleased to announce a gift of $50 million to the College of Engineering from the John and Marcia Price Family Foundation. I haven't said 50 million in a while. Did I say that? $50 million. You know, it's a gift that is going to transform the physical campus and provide opportunity for students and faculty, and to support also the $100 million research enterprise that already exists here. Included in the $50 million gift is $17.5 million for the John and Marcia Computing and Engineering Building. You'll see a diagram of this over here. $10 million for a scholarship endowment to expand opportunities for students in need, and $22.5 million in endowment that will advance educational and research opportunities even further. So it is with the deepest appreciation for John and Marcia and members of the Price family that we will now change the name of this college to the John and Marcia Price College of Engineering. And before you applaud, I would like to ask the tallest development officer in the United States, Josh Grant, to come up here for a moment. And Steve, are you going to help me as well?
Oh, yes.
We want to show you something. John and Marcia, thank you. The John and Marcia College of Engineering.
Let me take the next step in rebranding the college.
As a former business school dean, it just does my heart good to have Rich talking about branding. That's just the most amazing thing ever. I never thought I'd ever see the day. Of course, this naming will be in perpetuity. Before we hear directly from the Prices, I'm pleased to invite Governor Spencer Cox to offer a few words.
Well, this is a red letter day in more ways than one, and we are so excited to be here to celebrate. Thank you, President Randall. I am honored to be included on this very special day. Now, as many of you know, I recently rolled out my budget for the state that included among my priorities investments in education, housing, water management, and conservation. Now, these are issues that will require the finest minds in our state collaborating to find innovative solutions. And I know you didn't want to hear about my budget, but I knew we had some legislators here, so I thought I would just gratuitously throw that in anyway. But As governor, I have observed that many of the solutions to Utah's most challenging problems are coming out of our great research institutions like the University of Utah. To remain healthy as a state, we need to sustain the rich intellectual heritage that has produced such graduates as John Warnock, Ed Catmull, Peter Meldrum, and of course, John and Marcia Price. John earned a bachelor's degree in geological engineering from the University of Utah in 1956. Marcia completed her bachelor's degree in English a year later. As a couple, John and Marcia are not just community leaders, they are community builders. Their lives are a compelling example of service to Utah and the nation. John is an American diplomat who has been at the forefront of economic and small business development in Utah and the western United States. The founder, of course, of JP Realty, John ranks as one of Utah's most prominent businessmen. He has served on numerous local, state, and national boards, including the University of Utah's Board of Trustees from 1992 to 1999. John has also held national leadership roles, including the Management Committee and Board of Trustees of the 2002 Winter Olympics in Salt Lake City. Marcia has devoted herself to advancing the arts in Utah, serving as chair of the Utah Arts Council, and later helping to establish Salt Lake County's Zoo Arts and Parks tax. She serves on the National Committee for the Performing Arts at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C., and is a board member emeritus on the boards of the Utah Symphony and Utah Opera. As governor, I am so fortunate and lucky and grateful to live in a state where enlightened individuals like John and Marcia Price have devoted their lives to making life better, safer, stronger, and healthier for all of us. Like John and Marcia, we all remain committed to developing the next generation of technology leaders and innovators. We need more engineers. We desperately need more engineers. And thanks to John and Marcia, we're going to have those engineers. Utah is a very, very special place. University of Utah is a very special place. And I am so grateful that for generations to come, the names of John and Marcia will be here, will be always remembered, and will be contributing in a very practical and important way to literally, not just figuratively, literally building the great state of Utah. Thank you and congratulations.
When I walked in earlier today, I ran into Marilyn Davies, and Marilyn was walking around the office thinking, and I said, Marilyn, what are you thinking? And President Pershing joined us, and she goes, when I first came here in 1994, I didn't know a lot about engineering. I'd come out of Holy Cross Hospital, and we had a banner year. We raised $47,000. And to look today at the Warnock building, the engineering building that we are in, the building that is coming across the street, this program, the 6,000 students that are enrolled today, and everything else that we've accomplished in that period of time is what I was thinking about. And so the college is on a course, path, and trajectory. And so on behalf of the entire Price family, we're honored to share this landmark announcement with each of you. We extend our gratitude to Governor Cox, President Adams, Speaker Wilson, President Randall, your robust support from the first time we brought this up to you. Dean Brown, when we first started conceiving this and talking about this, the answer was an automatic yes, and you started thinking of a big, bold vision. And so I want to thank you in every way. I also want to thank our elected and appointed officials that are here. We have friends from Salt Lake City. We have friends from Draper that are here that have come for this announcement and come to support us. So I want to thank each of you. Also behind this event, there were many individuals and teams that helped bring this together. So I want to thank each and every one of you. When my parents, John and Marcia, met in the 1950s, they were both students at the University of Utah. After graduation, they were married at the Art Barn across the street from the University of Utah. Their first home, and my first home, was on University Avenue across from the law school. Their commitment began to this institution, to this university, in the 1950s when they were both undergraduate students here. Both of my parents were the first generation in their families to attend and graduate from college. As University of Utah graduates, their degrees and the education they received here changed and transformed the course and trajectory of their lives. just as the University of Utah has and will change the course and trajectory and transformation of the state. Engineering degrees and research have been a powerful nutrient in the Utah economy. Engineers helped build the Transcontinental Railroad, which was connected in Promontory in 1869. They constructed I-15 and I-80. That's why we're the crossroads of the West. They propelled Hill Air Force Base. The groundbreaking was in 1954, and it continues to expand. It's the largest single source of employment, $3.5 billion of direct economic impact in the state. And much of that is engineering-based. Kennecott, Rio Tinto, our mining industry. Our number one export from the state is a Rio Tinto product. That mine employs lots of engineers. The International Airport, which now has the longest lease in the Delta system. More importantly, 15% of the Utah GDP was birthed when two companies, Novell and WordPerfect, combined with Governor Levitt's engineering initiative in 1999 and 2000 that birthed Silicon Slopes. Those were birthed with engineers coming out of this institution, plus the engineering initiative. In an advancing and modernized economy, engineers are needed at every level in every field to continue to propel Utah's economic growth and find solutions to small and large challenges. Growing up in and around the family business, my sisters and I consumed a daily meal, a daily diet of hard work and ingenuity, combined with giving back to community and people. That was the meal that we talked about every single day, and it will continue into the future. My parents and the Price family are honored and consider it a great privilege to be able to endow the University of Utah College of Engineering with this transformational gift and the resources needed for this and future generations of students for research and other related endeavors. The Price family wants to ensure that the College of Engineering will be a 5-star institution that will be recognized as a national powerhouse in engineering. As you know, my father, John Price, immigrated to this country. The drive that comes from the immigrant experience doesn't stop there, but continues and runs throughout the family. My strong commitment to community and economy was instilled in me by my parents. May that drive also inspire you. With that, I'd like to introduce my father, John Price.
Good afternoon. It is an honor for Marcia and me to be here today to celebrate this momentous occasion with all of you. Thank you for joining us. My family escaped the Holocaust in Germany in April 1939 to Panama. Jews were targeted by Hitler's regime, especially after Kristallnacht, the night of broken glass in November 1938, when stormtroopers broke windows and looted Jewish-owned shops, burned synagogues, destroyed Torahs, and rounded up 30,000 Jews and sent them to concentration camps. My father knew our time was limited. Life in Panama was difficult for my parents. We were fortunate to receive visas to the United States in September 1940 to find a better life. As immigrants, my parents struggled to make ends meet, but our education was foremost of importance to them. Right from the start, I worked at odd jobs when I was not in school. At age 8, I purchased a wagon and on weekends carried grocery bags for people from the neighborhood food store to make extra money. At age 16, I purchased a used tricycle ice cream wagon, which I rebranded as an Eskimo Pie ice cream wagon, and bought ice cream and products and dry ice from a local supplier. On weekends and holidays, and for 2 summers, I would go to local factories, tenements, schools, and pools and parks to sell the frozen delicacy. I also continued working at odd jobs and undertook small boutique ventures to save money for my education. I attended Stuyvesant High School, the premier public school which focused on science, math, and technology. Then on to City College of New York and the prestigious city-subsidized institution that it was, with a major focus on engineering. I was on track to graduate as a mechanical engineer, but I decided to focus more on geology courses. During the summer months, I worked in the Catskill Mountain resorts as a waiter, bartender, and bellhop to make ends meet. In the spring of 1954, I decided to travel west with a college classmate for oil field jobs in Oklahoma. When we arrived, the jobs were not available. With only enough money to either go back to New York or continue west to Colorado, where the uranium boom was underway. A flip of the coin decided we would go west. We immediately got jobs on the Colorado Plateau, surveying and staking uranium claims. With job offers in Salt Lake City, I decided not to go back to New York. Driving there late that summer, I fell in love with the beautiful mountain terrain, with some of the peaks still covered with snow. While working on uranium projects, I also decided to enroll at the University of Utah, graduating in 1956 with a degree in geological engineering. My brother on the East Coast also became an engineer, a chemical engineer. We were both first-generation college graduates. In 1956, the University of Utah Engineering Department was small, but had a major impact on the success of its graduates in the academic profession, becoming executives in public corporations, and startup endeavors, as in my case. A credit to the professors who mentored us along the way. I started my construction business in 1957, the same year Marcia and I were married. In the early 1960s, I started a turnkey paradigm which combined engineering, architecture, and the construction phases. I also started building retail, shopping centers, and enclosed malls. By 1975, I had also initiated the construction management program, new at the time in the country, for public projects. I subsequently convinced the Utah Bicentennial Commission that I could meet their tight budget for the new Symphony Hall, adjacent Art Center, and a Capitol Theater restoration under the construction management approach. I stayed close to the preferred architectural design and finish aspects. I guaranteed the cost of construction and hence had the management oversight of the project team and its subcontractors. The final cost of all three projects were within the budget, and I was able to also return $1 million to the arts organizations for their desired improvements. Along the way, as my financial resources increased, 15 other business ventures were added to the portfolio. Some of these businesses were more successful than others. I faced 7 recessions and many financial challenges. I navigated through these tough times and learned from my mistakes. In 1994, I rolled up 83 real estate partnerships into a real estate investment trust, a REIT, which was listed on the New York Stock Exchange as JP Realty, Inc. I served as chairman and chief executive officer until 2002, when we merged with another REIT to get a larger market presence in over 40 states. With hard work, perseverance, and good timing, I had a lasting, successful business career. I truly lived the American dream. And if all that weren't enough, I was honored to serve our country as U.S. Ambassador to the Republic of Mauritius, Republic of Seychelles, and the Union of the Comoros from 2002 to 2005. Marcia joined me hosting diplomatic events, working with local charities and NGOs. It's remarkable that a young immigrant boy could achieve such an honor to serve his country and have a successful business career. Marcia has been noted earlier, is a 4th-generation Utahn and is a lifelong advocate of the arts. She has served in such positions as the Utah Arts Council Board Chair University of Utah Museum of Fine Arts Board Chair, Utah Symphony and Opera Board member, and at the Kennedy Center in Washington as a National Committee member for the Performing Arts, among many others. Marcia also received an honorary doctorate degree in fine arts from the University of Utah in 2006. We are honored to have the opportunity to make this donation to the University of Utah to help educate current and future generations of students in the College of Engineering. Today, engineering and computing knowledge at every level is more important than ever. We have grown from my logarithmic slide rule era to a generation of high-tech generation, where artificial intelligence will continue to become more complex and mainstream in every application every day. The College of Engineering will be left behind in high-tech areas if we're not prepared to meet the challenges of the competitive global arena. Our gift will serve as an investment to educate students to the highest level to meet the market demand for engineers and computer science graduates. Also to help provide scholarships and seek research opportunities. Marcia and I are honored to have our names associated with the College of Engineering and its goal of being recognized internationally as a top-ranked engineering and computer science education institution. Likewise, we hope that the students attending the college will recall the story of a small immigrant boy and remember that everything in life is possible. And that's true. Everything in life is possible if you want to have it happen. Just work to make it happen. I would like to acknowledge the Price Family Foundation Board. In addition to Marcia and myself, our three children, Stephen, Deirdre, and Jennifer, and also Jennifer's husband, Tony, who attended the university, and Stephen's wife, Tiffany, and her son, Trey, a current university student, and our grandchildren, Ashley, Chelsea, Garrett, and his wife, Lauren, who all attended the university. They're all here. Also today we have with us Savannah and Lucy, our grandchildren. And we have proudly John Ford, the fourth over here. We got the first, the second, the third, and now we have him sitting right in front of us, 1.5 years old, John Ford the fourth. In closing, we are proud to be a family of Ute fans. Thank you. This is what got me here. I use that. That's what got me here. Have you ever seen one? Well, that was my old computer. There was no computer.
Hey, John, I want you to know I've seen a slide rule if nobody else has. So anyway, but what a fun thing always to be here at the University of Utah. It seems like these events are happening over and over again quite frequently. John Price is an icon. I remember when I was going to school at the University of Utah, he was an icon then, developing malls at that time. My family knew him. What a great asset he's been to the state of Utah, but always been an example to me in my life. An immigrant. Think of that. Now one of the largest real estate developers in maybe Utah, maybe United States. And all because of hard work and determination. My Senate district encompasses Hill Air Force Base, Steve. And Northrop Grumman just received one of the contracts for, used to be the ICBM program, GBSD. They keep changing the name of it, but basically controlling the intercontinental missiles for the entire United States. Based in Roy at Hill Air Force Base, new contract. Hill will hire more engineers every year than we produce in the state of Utah in all the universities. Northrop Grumman, right now, asked them last week, 4,000 openings unfilled. Think of the need that's there for engineers and engineering work in the state of Utah. And then think of the effect. We're talking about job alignment, fulfillment of making sure we have people for the jobs. But it's not the jobs, it's the people. And think of the impact it has on the families, on those engineers who go on to do other things besides engineering, that the effect it has on their families for generations to come. What we're doing here in these buildings, what we're doing here, what you've done collectively, so exciting for the state of Utah. I live in Layton. One of my neighbors I didn't know very well was a fellow by the name of Roger Schroeder. I got to know Roger. Very quiet. After a while, he finally opened up to me and started talking about his dad, Bill. Bill lived in Kansas, moved to Idaho, went to a small school in Idaho, got an engineering degree. Eventually was a professor at the University of Idaho. Had this crazy idea that somehow as a mathematician and an engineer, that there was a formula or some type of mathematical formula that an engineer in Russia talked about where you could actually make an object disappear from radar because of mathematics. He pursued that and started talking about it, but eventually Lockheed Martin hired him when he went to California. And in 1985, he talked to Lockheed Martin about this kind of stealth technology idea, and Lockheed said they weren't interested. He retired in 1985. Later on, a few years later, Lockheed decided they were interested, and they brought him out of retirement. And he talked about competing with other defense contractors. There were 4 others. They all put their prototypes in a machine that detected radar. They put the other 3 in. They put Bill's in. They thought the machine was broken. And then they put it back in. And obviously, that's the start of stealth technology. That's cool, but it's only partially cool in my mind. President Reagan at the time was at the Brandenburg Gate. And he said something, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. I don't think anybody would have paid attention to President Reagan if we hadn't have had so much, we weren't so far superior in our defense systems. Bill was not a politician. He was not someone who stood in front of the Brandenburg Gate, but he had a profound impact, in my opinion, on the entire world. Nobody knows him. Nobody knows who he is. Now, that's what we're doing here today. We need to find the next Bill Schroeder. Not just for the great economy we have, but for our national security and the well-being of our population. And John, thank you for your investment. Your family's an example, been great friends for my family for years. What you're doing here will be felt for generations to come. It's a real honor to be here today. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. The governor and President Adams and I don't know if I should admit this or not, but we speak, it's the second time we've spoken today at an event. We speak at a lot of events. And I don't remember a whole bunch of them, to be honest, but I'm going to remember this day. When I think about, I'll tell you why I'm crying in a minute. I cry easy. But when I think about a 5-year-old John Price in 1939 fleeing Germany, and the direct route to Salt Lake through Panama, then through Ellis Island, then through Gunnison, Colorado, and accidentally finding himself in Salt Lake City, where he met his lovely wife. It's a remarkable story. And, you hear that, and you just kind of know that John was meant to be here. And the rest is history. They married, they have a beautiful family. In fact, we need to have all the Price family stand up, and just stand up. So I know you don't want to, but do it anyway. So it's a good-looking family too. A remarkable family that's made an incredible contribution to our state. And the Prices have been, we all know this, but they've been pillars in our community for decades. And I'm very honored to be here today. Honored to recognize the legacy of John and Marcia and the contribution that they're making. Philanthropy in our state is very important. We've got some remarkable philanthropists that have made a difference and big contributions. I want to just tell you what philanthropy means. I looked up the definition, remind you of it. It's a person or an organization seeking to promote the welfare of others, especially by donating to good causes and someone or something that's generous and benevolent. And I can't think of a better description than that of the Prices. Like many others, they've wanted to leave, and they do want to leave Utah a better place than they found it, and build the next generation of leaders that are making a contribution here. You know, we talk a lot as politicians about Utah's secret sauce, and we actually do have a secret sauce, and a really important element of it is the gifts that come through the philanthropic fabric we have in our state. Imagine for a moment if Utah didn't have that. We wouldn't be here today. We wouldn't see the impact that the Prices and other families have made on our state in such a remarkable way. This philanthropy, I do know how to say the word, is seen in action with what John and Marcia are doing today. Steve and John in particular spent some time up here, and they saw on this campus that students in computer science and engineering, computer science being the largest major now on this campus, these students were working in stairwells. Whiteboards have been in hallways. Not necessarily the most conducive environment to the kind of education that we want them to have here. And they knew that the university and this program were not living up to the potential and the impact that could be made on all of these students. And so they did what the Prices have always done, especially if you listen to the story that John shared. They got to work. And they have made today happen, and this new building happen. $50 million, as President Randall, announced that gift, I leaned over to President Adams and I said, you know, Stuart, we deal with a lot of money, but $50 million is still a lot. So it's a lot of money. And this is the largest, by a factor of 2, donations to the main campus at the University of Utah. That's pretty remarkable. And I will just add that we've got a lot of incredible philanthropy that happens in this state. But it is even more rare to have a first-generation titan of business and philanthropist do what the Prices have done today. The fact is, it would have been very easy for this money to have gone into the Price Foundation or to pass to the next generation of Prices who are incredibly talented and would have done great things with it. But the Prices knew that they wanted to make an impact, and an impact soon, and an impact that would be recognized all across the state, not just here in Salt Lake or at the U. Lastly, I just want to get a little personal. This is where I cry. But the Prices have made a big impact on not just me, but my family and our whole state. For me, they've been incredible examples of community impact. They're always engaged. They're always aware. They've got their finger on the pulse of what's happening in our community. They're helping my son. He's somewhere here, I think, today. My son, Zach, is studying computer science at the University of Utah. He's dying right now that I said his name, by the way. And they're helping him. And they're making a big contribution, not just on the students here, but all across Utah, as I've said. I'd be remiss if I didn't recognize Marcia. She's a wonderful person. Her love of the arts have made a big difference as well. And I don't think a lot of people know this, and I probably shouldn't share what I know in detail, but during COVID, Marcia single-handedly kept a lot of arts organizations in this state. Because of her quiet contributions to keep them here. And yes, thanks, Marcia. Many of you know that John loves fast cars. I like cars as well. I don't think anyone likes cars as much as John. And everything from his amazing collection, which is remarkable, to when he was just a couple years younger, driving, he was telling me, McLarens and Mercedes at 200 miles an hour through Europe. He's a big fan of Formula One as well, and one of the greatest Formula One drivers of all time is a gentleman by the name of Ayrton Senna. And he said something that I actually think says he was talking about himself, but I think he was talking about John Price. He said, each driver has its limit, but my limit is a little bit further than others. And John and Marcia, your limit is high, and your impact is large. Thank you for what you've done for our amazing state. Thank you for what you've done for this university. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Wilson, and all of our honored guests. As you've heard, the John and Marcia Price College of Engineering will continue to serve the people of Utah through world-class engineering and computer science education, cutting-edge research, and technology innovation leading to new companies and jobs. Thank you all for being part of this special event. We invite any students in the audience to join us for pizza behind me in the west end of the hall. We have 100 pizzas there. We'd ask you to allow the Prices and the podium party to move to the Eccles boardroom immediately after we close here. And then we invite the rest of our guests to greet the Prices there and enjoy lighter refreshments and have a chance to network. Thank you again to John and Marcia Price and to their family for this monumental gift. Thank you.